This is Monumental, a civilization game where the question is, how will you shape your civilization? So in civilization, you're each gonna start in your own little corners. Each person has their little capital. That's what these tokens are. So this is a setup for a two-player game. So this is the red player, and over here is the blue player. And what you need to do is start using different resources. There are 3 resources in this game: production, science, and military. In addition to that, there's also gold and culture. And you need to get those resources in order to buy these cards. And then as you buy these cards, you upgrade. And as you upgrade, you can get victory points. And whoever has the most victory points wins the game. Now, the victory points are kind of important to kind of start out with because it's kind of the purpose of this game. So what I mean by that is, right here, this is all you get. So every time that you build a wonder, you get 2 victory points. Every time you build a cultural policy, you get 2 victory points. If you do a knowledge card, you get 1 victory point. And if you, for each province that you control, you will get 1 victory point. But on each one of those is the majority. And this is where the game can swing. So if you don't win 1 or 2 of these, you are probably not going to win this game. So right here is the score for the red and blue player. And what this really came down to was the majority. Blue had 3 out of the 4 majorities. That's 9 points that they had for free over red. Red actually did a good job catching up, but didn't have enough majorities in order to take the lead. So just something worth saying there. So each player is going to have their own civilization that they start out with. There are 5 civilizations. I'm trying to remember in my head all of them. There's China, Japan, Greek, Egypt. This is Egypt right here. So you see their symbol. So this is your leader, and I think he's a warlord. Yeah, everybody has one warlord. It's kind of the leader of that civilization. And each of this is your deck. And Monumental is a deck building game at its core and at its heart. So everybody's gonna start with these same ones. Sorry about that. Kind of a little bit blurry. They're gonna get 3 forts, 3 libraries, and 3 work camps. Remember I told you about the resources? These are what you get for the resources. Notice there are ones for each one of these. So for military, you'll get 1 token for each of those cards. For science, you'll get 1 for each of those. And for production, you will get 1 for each of those. And so this is how you get the basic resources in the game. Each culture has their own unique cards. So for Egypt, these are their unique cards that they start the game with. And I'm not really gonna go through these, so you can just kind of see. And there's just little nuances between the different ones. And so you're gonna take this deck and you're gonna shuffle it. And when you shuffle it, it's gonna look like this. So this is your deck right here. You shuffle it, and this is your city deck. Each round, you put out your city. Your city is a 3x3 grid. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 9 cards I lay out, and it goes from left to right, from up to down. This is my city, and then I'm gonna play. On my turn, I'm gonna choose a row that goes vertical and horizontal. So for example, a row and a column is basically what it is. So boom, 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 boom. That's what I'm gonna choose to activate. So for this one, I would get 1 science, 1 production, 1 science over here, 2 productions over here, and whatever that card says. Copy the bonus of one of your culture policies. Okay, so this is what I would do during my turn. And I would get those resources. Now, it's not necessary that you have these tokens, but they're counters and they really do help, because otherwise you're gonna have to do this all in your head. And this is one of the problems with deck builders, is that it does so much stuff that you kind of forget and you don't know what you're doing. So what's kind of nice about this is that you can keep track of everything that you need to. So you can think about your decisions and what you want to do. So after that, now I can go over here and I can buy things. So the cost of everything that I want to buy is on the bottom left. Those are pretty dang expensive. That's because this is a third age card. These are second age cards, and these are first age cards up here. So this is the age deck, and you will be going throughout this deck. This is kind of like your market where you buy things in a deck building game. And so like it starts here, and then you'll go through those cards. I just kind of did this for display, so you have some third and some first age cards on here. But here's the cost of those. So this costs 4 science, this one costs 3. So I look at my resources and I try to buy things. There are a couple of items that you have that are always available, and that's these. You have the workshop, the laboratory, and the archer range. And if you noticed, it gives you military, science, production. So this is how you could get more if that's what you need all the time. And then here are your basic, your age ones. These are your basic ones. Here's the ones that you can purchase throughout the game and increase your deck. And so that's what you're doing. Now, throughout that game, the only way to expand your military force is by military. So these are soldiers, and each person also has a warlord right here. There's not much to the combat. There's not much to the stuff. It's really just kind of to slow you down and make sure you get certain territories. Because all your army starts here, and each of these provinces will have barbarians on them, like these guys right here. And so you look at the land has a 2, the barbarians have a 1. So the strength of this province is 3. That means I need to take 3 soldiers and come into here. And as long as I match 3, I take that province. There's no battle, there's no dice or anything like that. I don't lose anybody, I just go there. The one catch is that as you start to expand, you see I have a bunch of these 1s on here. And that is because you are not allowed to leave this without anybody. So as you expand, you're going to also get smaller force, and you're going to start losing your army. So there's only a certain extent in which you can really get forward. And if I went that way and this way, so there's no way I could push more. I just don't have the bandwidth for it. I actually was trying at the very end to get this one and couldn't quite get there. So if I want to move one of these units, I have to take a red counter, and for every red counter that I have, I can move one of these 1 space. And that's how I advance. As soon as it's there, I would do the combat. So that's how you expand. And the reason you want to expand is because you'll get resources. So if I defeat these barbarians, 1, I'm going to get a little prize right here. I'm either going to get a gold or move 1 explorer tile. So I get to choose that. And this is a free production tile. Now, one thing I didn't say is that when you get these, you have to use them, just like a deck builder type of a game. You get to play the cards, you use them or you lose them. Same thing. If I don't use these resources, they go away. So I need to use them or they're wasted. This is one that can actually keep. This is a production token, black one, but I can keep this one for future use. Golds are considered wild. So if you get gold, then you have some wilds that you can use. So that's why you want to expand. The other reason you want to expand is because throughout this game, you're going to want to build wonders. And when you build a wonder, you need a province. So if you don't have provinces, you can't build wonders. I kind of ran into this problem with the blue player. I was doing really well in building wonders, but I actually didn't have a lot of space. And I was like, I just kind of need to expand a little bit so I can put these on here. So you see I built 4 wonders and got them on there. The The wonders will come throughout this deck right here through the ages. Here's an example of one right here. There's Stonehenge. And the way that this works is, if you want to purchase this, which by the way, this guy can purchase this right now. So I could spend these 3 and I can purchase Stonehenge. Stonehenge will go here, and I will put this to signify that it's in the building phase. The next time that I'm able to, I can spend 3 production, and then I will be able to build Stonehenge. I can put the Stonehenge token on one of those provinces that I own, and then I will get this immediate benefit, and then this card is gonna go into my deck, and I get to do this ability whenever I get it, just like the rest of these cards. So that's how you get the wonders. And the blue cards, these are called knowledge cards. And you'll notice that they're always behind a card. So like, basically it's kind of double down. It just goes underneath. So when you tap that card, you get both of those things. So over here, look at this. I have a wonder under a blue card. I got this one right here. This is giving me all kinds of stuff right here. So if I tap this one, I get 2 production and 1 production up here. So it's kind of extra stuff. Plus at the end of the game, they give you 1 victory point. And if you have more blue cards than the other person, you get 3. So it's definitely worth that investment right there. So let's see. Does this feel like a civilization game? Yeah, it does. This is what I would call a beginner civilization game. You get all of the flavor that you want. Is it cool to kind of look at these cards and look what they are and see what the wonders? Yeah, it is. Does it feel like you're building a civilization like in some of the other games and the things that you do? No, it doesn't. But that's not what this game is trying to do. It's just trying to give you all of the different flavors. You get to expand a little bit. You get to have that sense of a military presence. You get to build your different wonders as you come out in your civilization. These are buildings that you have that give you different resources and abilities. And each culture has different policies that they have. These are cultural policies that they have. And right here is how you spin. So basically there's 5 cultural policies in each culture. And basically what you do is you'll spend 1 culture token to get your first one. And then your second one is going to be worth 2. Your third one's going to be worth 3. The fourth one's going to be 4. And then the 5th one is going to be 5 culture tokens. So they get more expensive as you go. And they give you small little benefits right there. And then there's also an instant ability. But more importantly, this is one of the victory points at the end of the game. They're worth 2 victory points, and whoever has the most gets 3. So these are kind of important cards that you have. And those are cultural cards. And getting a culture is a little bit trickier. Some cards will give you some of that text. There's also a special building. See if I can find it. I don't think I'm going to be, okay, right here. So if you come in and take this territory, there's a slight difference between the barbarians and this. This is a free city. And when you do the free city, sometimes they'll have culture. So this is a good way to get culture right there. Also, there's these markets. And you can send your explorers, which are these guys right here. And the explorers can go into these markets. And the first person that goes here gets to look at all of the markets and pick which one they want. So I can have 4 production or 2 culture. And I get to pick which one I want, and then I leave the other one for the other player. So 1 per player. So those are little marketplaces, and that's kind of some ways to get culture. So throughout the game, you're gonna look at this right here. And this is where the time is gonna take in this game, because I'm looking at this deck. What are my options? I have to tap 1 column and 1 row. That means I could do this row, this row, this row, this column, or this column. And I need to pick, because whichever ones I tap, I activate. So that can take a little bit while you're calculating. This one gives me 2 production. This one gives me 3. Okay, so I have 5 production right there. What can I buy over here? I don't know where that one card went. Okay, I can buy a couple of things. Which of these cards do I want to buy? And then if I tap one more, so if I do this row and I do this one, I'll get one more. And so you're trying to optimize on doing that. And as you play this game, there's of course going to be these combos and chain reactions. That's what deck building does. And so you're going to have things going where, like, I only had 1 resource left, but I came in and I used my military, I conquered, I reveal some tokens, and it gave me just enough of what I needed. So now I could build a culture, and the culture lets me do this, and now I can do something that I wasn't able to do. So there's a lot of that type of thinking that goes on in this game. For 2 people, that's not going to be too bad. I'm not sure about 3. This is 2-player game right here, and you can see it took up quite a bit of that table right there. This is not necessary at all to the very end of the game. Those are the resources over there. This is player 1. This is the main area for all players, and this is player 2. So, hope that gives you a good summary of what Monumental is. There's a couple of different modules. They have a Heroes and Monsters expansion that you can kind of put in. I kind of like the idea of the Monsters one because it's going to affect your soldiers and it's going to start killing some and doing some other things. It's not going to be terrible, and you get benefits when you slay a monster. And then the Heroes have some benefits as well. Maybe spice it up a little bit. But yeah, so there you go. That is Monumental.